What is up, my peepholes? This is your guy, Kalai, and welcome back to Budget Buys. Now today I have for you yet another piece of audio gear, this time the vintage retro speaker from Bass Jaxx. Now when I first saw this on the Five Below website, I knew I had to have it, mainly because I am a sucker for the 1950s Americana design aesthetic, which kind of explains my love for the Fallout series. But a second reason I needed to have this is I wanted to make sure this was worth the money, because it turns out this is actually a knockoff of a speaker that you can get on AliExpress as well as Amazon for about $25 to $30. Quite a bit of a difference between $30 and $5, and that's because you're sacrificing a few features. Let me go ahead and bring the speaker itself into view and right side up. Now, when I say you're lacking features, I mean this is nothing more than a rechargeable line-in speaker, which means you have just a 3.5 millimeter jack for delivering your audio. The legit version features both Bluetooth and line-in, as well as the ability to read audio files from micro SD cards. So I kind of feel like those are justifying the cost, especially when you take into account that I believe the shell for the legit versions is anodized aluminum, whereas this one is plastic. Now, aesthetically, I'm actually quite pleased. This has the look I was going for, though I can't tell if you can see it, but the reflective surface here is actually very prone to fingerprints. I need to wipe that off after I record. Now, admittedly, I liked the design aesthetic until I turned it on. Let me go ahead and turn the light off. I said turn the light off, not back on, and switch on the speaker. There we go. As you can see, they went with a color-changing LED, and not even a good one. Whereas the Blast Bluetooth speaker cubes had a transitioning color LED, which I still love my Blast Cube because its first run, later runs did not exactly have the right construction quality. I've heard complaints on my videos, and I hear you. I completely understand not everything's going to be perfect coming from the store, as I will tell you later. But they went with the cheap multi-cycle style LED, especially when it gets to the high-speed flash right there. That makes me think of a dollar store Halloween decoration. It's kind of irksome to me. Personally, if I were going to put an LED in one of these, I would have gone with a warm white LED so that it emulates the bulbs that would have been in a speaker from this time period. In fact, if I can get inside of this, I happen to have some warm white LEDs that I picked up at Dollar Tree last Halloween that I would gladly sacrifice one or two of to give that the right look. Yes, I said if I can get inside, because I am quite big on modifying my own electronics if possible, but there are no screws on the back. There are no screws on the bottom. If this is anything like some of the speakers I've bought from this company before, there's a chance I'm going to have to remove the face plates to get to screws that hold on the back, and I don't know if I want to do that. Too high of a risk of ruining it. And I no longer have my main motivation for wanting to get inside, which was not the LED, but because this had a terrible audio quality when I first took it out of the box. I have not recharged this since then, so it's not like there's more juice going to anything, but when I first turned this on, I wanted to test it out in style. No modern music. I wanted to play the ink spots. Specifically, I don't want to set the world on fire, which, like I said before, I love Fallout. So I wanted to test this properly, and it was bad. Anything I played with a decent amount of treble in it was garbage. The speaker would rattle, the audio quality would be garbled, it was terrible. I decided to play some Amon Amarth afterwards, and it handled it like a champ. It likes bass. It was so-so when I broke out Arch Enemy, but that's because the squealing guitar solo made it question its will to live. So, yeah, it wasn't originally a great speaker. Though what's funny is when I went to make this video, I found out the audio quality is actually pitch perfect now. And I think I know why. Because when I originally wanted to modify this, I tried to get into the back. And that involved taking a spudger, or a pry bar basically, around all of these edges in order to see if there were any clips or glue, which I couldn't find either. No glue at the corners, no glue on these seams, so that's why I think it's got the screws in the front that make me just not want to do that anymore. But if anyone has tried to pry apart softer plastics before, you know you're going to end up with warps and like stress marks, white stress marks around all of the edges, and I hate those. So I decided to remove them using a heat gun. That's right, if you need to remove white stress marks from any of the plastic that you've taken apart, a heat gun, not a blow dryer, but a heat gun, turned to its lowest setting, assuming it still belts out a decent amount. You don't want to melt it, but you don't want to have it too low. A heat gun, just done in circles around where you have the stress marks, will effectively act as an eraser. You can't see any pry marks on any of these edges, but I think there was a bit of a side effect because now it sounds perfect. So I'm thinking they used hot glue to secure the speaker, and while I was heating up this, the air inside got warm enough to soften, if not partially liquefy the hot glue and reseat the speaker properly. So I wonder if that would work with any of the Bluetooth cubes. If you've got a heat gun and your cube sounds terrible and you don't mind potentially destroying it, give it a try. Just don't say I told you to do it. Anyway, I have a song selected to just give you an idea of how this sounds. I've got my phone, I've got the really crappy audio cable that came with it that I'm not going to use. Instead, I have this cable right here. It's a 4-footer that I picked up at Dollar Tree a while back. This is about a 1.5, 2-footer. Meh. It also, that one does not do a good job of staying in the ports, so $1. Not a bad price for a cable that you can use on all kinds of things. Worthy investment. Got it plugged into my phone, got it plugged into the speaker. Speaker volume is maximum because I'm not taking my microphone off. I'm hoping my lavalier mic will hear it. So there we go. I've got the video pulled up and there we go. Wanted to test it with something kind of period sounding. Because I did buy this to listen to period music and older radio plays, which it does fine now, did not before the heat gun. It was kind of sad when I tried to listen to The Shadow and all I heard was bleep. I listen to music specifically for that kind of sound, not The Shadow. So, yeah. All of that means that I actually can't recommend this. The build quality is so-so. The attention to detail and the quality assurance, I'm going to say, is negligible. And the LED looks terrible in this, so I cannot suggest buying this for $5. There are many other better things that you could get to play your audio out of at the same store at the same price. In fact, I've got a couple of more reviews coming up within the next couple of weeks that will demonstrate that point. I do want to say one more thing about this speaker, though, because I still get daily emails from Amazon sellers and the like trying to get me to review their Bluetooth speakers, and I typically ignore them. However, if you are going to email me trying to get me to review your Bluetooth speaker, offer me this one. Offer me the one that looks like this and I will take the bait. Mainly because it's actually a good $30 cheaper than the one everyone's trying to get me to review, and I don't want to review the expensive tech on here. unless it looks like something that I've already reviewed. I love doing head-to-head kind of stuff, so if you have a retro-style Bluetooth speaker that you are looking for a YouTuber to review, I'll do it. That pandering aside, until next time, this is your guy, Cly, signing off.